So I'm making pretty simple sliding barn doors. This is 1x material pine, and I want these two panels to be 16 inches and they're 17.5. So that means I'm going to have to rip two of the boards, the end boards, to match up to 16 inches. Let's see here, that should be 17.5, yep. So I need 1.5 inches, so 3/4 of an inch off of each of the ends here. Okay, now that I have all of those boards ripped down to the right width, I measured, I have the two 16-inch wide doors and I have the 138. So now I need to cut the horizontal bracing pieces. So I need to do 6 16-inch length ones, and I need to do 6 38-inch length ones, and it's going to be out of 2x10. So here is where we stand with the doors. I've cut, sanded, and stained all of the pieces for all 3 doors. I stained them yesterday in the back room, and it was pretty cold last night. So these were drying last night, but the boards are still pretty cold. So I brought them inside to warm up, so that way they're at the right temperature when I glue them together, because I don't want to glue them when they're shrunk and then have them expand and then warp. So those are curing, I guess we'll call it. So what we'll do is we will work on getting the tracks up on the wall. And the way that these tracks are set up is there are these 2 bars, there's 2 bars that tie together, and they have pre-drilled holes every 16 inches. But these pre-drilled holes do not line up with the studs on the wall. So I'm going to be putting a ledger board up, which you can see the 2 right behind me, screwing those into the studs, and then screwing this into the ledger board. So earlier I used a laser level to determine the height of the door, and then according to the instructions I need to go up 1 5/8 inches from the height of the door to where the holes for the rail are going to be. I'm actually 3/8 inches above that, so I have a 3/8 inch clearance on the floor. All right, so I pre-drill first to make sure that I hit the stud, and then I'm going to countersink just a little bit so the head doesn't stick past the surface, so that way when I put some wood putty in there, I got a nice flush surface with the paint when I paint over it. All right, got the ledger boards up. This one was fairly easy to do. I got all of the screws recessed in, some a little deeper than I wanted. This one I actually missed the stud at first, so I had to reposition it, but I got them all in, nice and sturdy, like that's not coming down. This one was also fairly simple, same thing, but turns out that this wall is not flush with that wall. That section kind of curves in a little bit, so you can see I had to shim the track or the ledger board to stay straight. I just clamped my level on there, nice straight edge, and then shimmed it, screwed it in. So I'll cut those shims off, and then we'll get the start putting the tracks up. All right, I got my laser line. I should just be able to line this guy up with the laser right in the center of that hole, and I'm going to take it off a little bit. There we go. Center. Center. That doesn't look like that's centered. Center. Okay, that's where my bolt holes will go. All right, so I am pre-fitting this because what I need to do is figure out how much I need to cut off of this, because it's too long for this space. 36.5 inches. So the track is in position, but that's not how it's going to be installed permanently. So I'm actually going to take that off. But I wanted to do is get the holes pre-drilled, check for level. I'll fill all the other holes with putty, and then I'll paint the ledger board. And then I'll put the rail back up, but there are some spacers to put in and some stops. These go at the end of the track to keep the door from moving too far. I'm going to be doing the same thing for this other barn door rail over here. I'm going to start assembling the first door. So let me walk you through the setup here. I have the boards pinched together, and I have them on a nice flat surface on this clamp here. I got these years and years and years ago, so it's good to be able to put them to use. I've squared up the bottom and made sure that the door is a nice rectangle shape. And I think all I'm gonna do now is take the bottom piece here, glue it really good, and then clamp them to hold them on and let the glue dry. I have 3 panels to do. I'm gonna do the tops and bottoms first. And I'm just using Titebond 2 premium wood glue. So I have to let this set for a minimum of 30 minutes. This may not be the right way to do all of this. It's gonna take a long time to do all of the doors this way. And I think what's gonna happen is some of the glue is gonna drip between the boards onto this bottom board and glue this bottom board to the back of the door, which I definitely don't want to happen. So I'm just gonna let it go and we'll see how it turns out, but I'm probably gonna do the other slats a different way. All right, looks like I still have some glue that hasn't dried. I had wax paper between the board and the door, so it looks like it didn't get to evaporate and dry overnight. So I wonder if I should try to peel it off or what I should do here. This is the back of the door, so it's not a big deal if there's a little bit of imperfection. This is basically going to be visible if you're in the closet and you close the door, which would be weird. You can clean it up with water if it's not dry. So there we go, look at that. I think that'll be okay. There we go. I think that'll be good enough. Well, I got the doors built. This one, I still have some panels to put on the other side, so I'm still letting that dry, but it's been over 12 hours on that one. And the 2 doors for the closet, they are done and they're ready to be hung. I ended up taking a different strategy on this second door here, and I used the brad nailer to put the panels on in addition to putting the glue on, and that was so I could let the glue set for 30 minutes and then take off all of the clamps and put the next board on, because the brad nails would hold it in place, and so I didn't have to wait so long for the glue to dry completely before I moved on to the next panel. They're ready to hang now. All of the ledger boards are painted, it's all caulked, and it's ready to go. So let's put up the rails. Door stop number 1 on, and door stop number 2 on. Need to be so fast. Now this one I had to cut to length, and when I cut this end off here, it actually cut the pre-drilled hole, so I had to drill a hole, but I've already pre-marked all of that. So that'll go there, that'll go there. I'm trying to minimize scratching the paint. So I'm being gentle. Oh, I didn't put my stoppers on this one. Gosh darn it. So I need a stopper over here and a stopper over here. All right, that is dead level. Sweet. So what I need to do is figure out where I'm going to attach this to the door, because the stopper is over as far as it can possibly get. And so I need to make sure I don't put this too far to the edge of the door, otherwise the stopper will hit the door before it fully closes. And so I'm going to put it in its place where it's supposed to stop, about right there. And then this, I get it over as far as it can go. This edge needs to be okay. As long as I keep this to the right of those two marks, I should be fine. So the instruction says to drill 2 inches from the top with a 3/8 inch bit. All right, let's get the other door in, and then we'll plumb them up, mark these holes, drill them. All right, that goes up there, like so. And that comes over. And now we need to position these so they are plumb with each other. At the same time that I was building the sliding doors and getting the rails installed in the room, I was also building a new desk for Katie's office. We ended up getting a 6-foot butcher block desktop. I sanded it down really good. I stained it, and then I applied 2 layers of polyurethane. And then late last night, I used the tractor to bring it into the house and mount it to the legs. I brought it into the room, and now the room is done, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. The sliding barn doors made from 1x pine material turned out really nice. A nice stain. Later on, I think I'm going to go ahead and apply a coat of polyurethane to them just so they match all of the other doors and wood in the house and in this room. But Katie will have a very nice view outside the window looking to the south, where she'll be able to see the Appalachian Mountains in the background. The room is cozy, inviting, and it's just gorgeous now. I'm really happy with the end results. There are still a couple small finishing touches to be done, like little handles on the doors, and then the rails down at the bottom to guide the bottom of the door so it doesn't swing. So as usual, I appreciate all your guys' support. Appreciate you watching, and we're getting very, very, very close to being done with the house. This was the last room to be done. Now it's just wrapping the beam, couple lights to hang out, and then a couple finishing touches, and then we're done with the house. Really exciting. All right, we will see you next time. Thank you for watching.